I'm sure most of you that will be watching this are going to say to yourself, well, reading the Bhagavad Gita. And to that I say, why not? As per usual, I've got to just send the link out, and after which we will get started. I've just sent the link out to a certain group chat. And I guess we're gonna get started soon enough. Okay. So if you go to the description below, I have the link inside of it. So just click it, go to the website. It's holybhagavadgita.org. I'm going to make an effort to read the entire Bhagavad Gita and have it on this channel. I'm not an expert on the Gita. I am a student learning it and want to know more about it. Today we're going to be reading chapters 1 and 2, and there are exactly 119 verses, and so we'll be reading them all. Okay. Alright, so without further ado, I'll get started. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, go ahead and pop it into the chat. Just be respectful. Without that further ado, I'll begin. So once you get to the website, just head over to this tab called Chapters, and then from there you're going to click on Chapter 1, and here we are. This is called Lamenting the Consequences of War. Okay. So again, this is Chapter 1, Arjun Vishad Yog. And if anyone knows what I'm reading, please do not, if I am disrespectful in any way, please call me out on that. And, well, let's get started. Okay. The Bhagavad Gita, or the Song of God, was revealed by Lord Krishna to Arjun on the threshold of the epic war of Mahabharata. A decisive battle between two sets of cousins, the Kauravas and the Pandavas, was just about to commence on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. A detailed account of the reasons that led to such a colossal war is given under introduction, the setting of the Bhagavad Gita. So later on, we'll go to the reasoning of this war, which is, I believe, over here. Yeah, right here. And we'll go into this another time. The setting of the Bhagavad Gita. Let's actually find it first. Let's find the setting. Excuse me. Not too sure if I'm looking in the right place, but we'll figure that out. The Bhagavad Gita is primarily a conversation between Lord Sri Krishna and Arjun. However, the first chapter begins with a dialogue between King Dhritarashtra and Mr. Sanjay. Dhritarashtra being blind. So this is the king. I believe this is the king over here. Dhritarashtra, being blind, could not leave his place in Hastinapur, but was eager to know the ongoings of the battlefield. Sanjay was a disciple of sage Vyas, the author of the epic Mahabharata, and several other Hindu scriptures. Sage Vyas possessed a mystic ability to see and hear events occurring in distant places. He had bestowed upon Sanjay and his minister. So Sanjay is the minister to King Dhritarashtra. And what did he do? Okay, so his teacher, so this is the teacher, possessed a mystic ability to see and hear events occurring in distant places. So Sanjay, being the disciple of Saj Vedvayas, bestowed upon to Sanjay, his disciple, the miraculous power of distant vision. Therefore, Sanjay could see and hear what transpired on the battleground of Kurukshetra, and gave a first-hand account to King Dhritarashtra while still being in his palace. Okay, let's begin. Chapter 1, verse 1 of the Bhagavad Gita. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjay, after gathering on the holy field of Kurukshetra and desiring to fight, what did my sons and the sons of Pandu do? So right away we can tell that King Dhritarashtra is, from what I can tell, from what I've read, on the side of the Pandavas, according to this. Because he's saying the sons of Pandu do. Sanjay said, on observing the Pandava army standing in military formation, King Duryodhan approached his teacher, Dronkarya, and said the following words. Duryodhan said, Respected teacher, behold the mighty army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged for battle by your own gifted disciple, the son of Drupad. Behold, in their ranks are many powerful warriors, like Yoyodhan, Varyat, Drupad, wielding mighty bows and equal in military prowess to Bhim and Arjun. There are also accomplished heroes like Drishtaketu, Chikatan, and Chikatan, the gallant king of Kashi, Puryojit, Kuntiboj, and Shaibeya. All the best of men. In their ranks, they also have the courage. Yudhanma, the gallant Utamaja, and the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Drupadi, who are all great warrior chiefs. O best of Brahmins, hear too about the principal generals on our side who are especially qualified to lead. These I now recount unto you. There are personalities like yourself, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama, Vikran, and Bhurushrava, who are ever victorious in battle. Also, there are many heroic warriors who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. They are all skilled in the art of warfare and equipped with various kinds of weapons. The strength of our army is unlimited, and we are safely marshaled by Grandsire Bhishma, while the strength of the Pandava army, carefully marshaled by Bhim, is limited. Therefore, I call on to all the generals of the Kurava army, now to give full support to Grandsire Bhishma, even as you defend your respective strategic points. Excuse me. Then the grand old man of the Kuru dynasty, the glorious patriarch Bhishma, roared like a lion and blew his conch shell very loudly, giving joy to Duryodhana. Thereafter, conches, kettle drums, buglies, trumpets, and horns suddenly flared forth, and their combined sound was overwhelming. Then, from amidst the Pandava army, seated in a glorious chariot drawn by white horses, Madhav and Arjun blew their divine conch shells. Hai Shri Krishna. Blew his conch. Is this Krishna? No, not that. Oh, it's Vishnu. Harishikesh blew his conch shell, called Panchajana. And let me just make sure I'm pronouncing that right.
Panchajanya.
Panchajanya. And Arjun blew the Devaduta. Bhim and the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his mighty conch, the Pundra.
Pandra.
Actually, I don't want it to be in English. I want it to be in Hindi. How do I get it to be in Hindi? No? Are you sure? How is it in English and not in Hindi? King, where am I? Okay. Where am I? Here. There we are on chapter 1, verse 16 to 18. King Yudhishthira blew the Anantavija, while Nakul and Sahadev blew the Sughush and Manipushpak. The excellent archer and king of Kashi, the great warrior Shikhandi Drishtharatyana Varyat, and the invincible Satyaki Drupad, the 5 sons of Drupadi, the mighty armed Amanyu, son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells, O ruler of the earth. So yes, verse 19. The terrific sound thundered across the sky and the earth, and shattered the hearts of their sons. Oh, Dhritarashtra. So this is the king. At that time, the son of Pandu, Arjun, who had the insignia of Hanuman on the flag of his chariot, took up his bow. Seeing your sons arrayed. Huh? Oh, wait. Oh, whoa. At the time, the son of Pandu, Arjun, who had the insignia of Hanuman on the flag of his chariot, so Arjun is on the Pandava side, took up his bow. Seeing your sons arrayed against him, O king. So that means Dhritarashtra, King Dhritarashtra, is not on the side of the Pandavas. He's on the Kauravas. Interesting. Let me confirm that really quickly. Where is it? King Dhritarashtra? Was a Kuru king. Yes, there we go. And we learned that from the Gita. We did not learn... we learned that from the Gita. Who featured heavily in the Hindu epic Mahabharata as the ancient king of Kuru kingdom, with its capital at Hassanapur. He was born to... why is she not... Why... So he was blind, and his wife Gandhari blinded herself. Wow. Wow. Where was I? It's up here somewhere. Seeing your sons arrayed against him. Yeah? Right. Yep. Where is it? Against him, O king. Arjun then spoke the following words to Sri Krishna. Arjun said, O infallible one, please take my chariot to the middle of both armies, so that I may look at the warriors arrayed for battle, whom I must fight in this great combat. I desire to see those who have come here to fight on the side of the evil-minded son Dhritarashtra, wishing to please him. So, who is he talking? Is he talking to Krishna? Desire to see those who have come here to fight on the side of the evil-minded Sandra, wishing to please him. Sanjay said, huh? O Dhritarashtra, having thus been addressed by Arjun, the conqueror of sleep, Sri Krishna... Oh, okay, he is talking to Krishna. Okay, Sri Krishna then drew the magnificent chariot between the two armies. In the presence of Bhishma, Dronacharya, and the other kings, Sri Krishna said, O Partha, behold these Kurus gathered here. There Arjun could see stationed in both armies his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, cousins, sons, nephews, grandnephews, friends, father-in-laws, and well-wishers. So his sons were on that side. What, bro? And his brothers, uncles, fathers. I don't. I think it would be father, not fathers. This confuses me. I have to learn more about why it says fathers and not father. Seeing all his relatives present there, Arjun, the son of Kunti, was overwhelmed with compassion and with deep sorrow, speaking the following words. Arjun said, O Krishna, seeing my own kinsmen arrayed for battle here and intent on killing each other, my limbs are giving way and my mouth is drying up. My whole body shudders. My hair is standing on end. My bow, the Gandhiv, is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning all over. My mind is in quandary and whirling in confusion. I am unable to hold myself steady for any longer. O Krishna, killer of the Kishu demon, I only see omens of misfortune. I do not foresee how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle. O Krishna, I do not desire the victory, kingdom, or the happiness accruing it. Okay, let me reread that. O Krishna, I do not desire the victory, kingdom, or the happiness accruing it. Of what avail will be a kingdom, pleasures, and even life itself, when the very persons for whom we covet them, are standing before us for battle? Teachers, fathers, sons, grandsons, maternal uncles, grandsons, father-in-laws, grandnephews, brother-in-laws, and other kinsmen are present here, staking their lives and riches. O Madhusundan, I do not wish to slay them, even if they attack me. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, what satisfaction will we derive from the dominion over the three worlds? What to speak of this earth? So he's saying there, this means let alone the earth. Dominion over three worlds, let alone this earth. Yeah. O maintainer of all living entities, what pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Even though they may be aggressors, sin will certainly come upon us if we slay them. Hence, it does not behoove us to kill our own cousins, the sons of Dhritarashtra and friends. O Madhav. I don't know if it's Mahadev or Madhav. Madhav. Krishna, which is Krishna. How can we hope to be happy by killing our kinsmen? I wish you well on this Hallows Eve. Yes, I am trying to be more holy as the demons try to come and possess me, Andrew. Yes, welcome. But unfortunately, I don't think you are here watching. So yes, not too shabby. Yeah. Okay, where was I? I know I was somewhere here. Did it stop? No, I don't think it did. Should be good. Don't know Okay. Okay. Looks good. Okay, sorry about that, guys. You already know what I have to do. Gotta make sure I'm on the right frame when it comes to the live stream. Where was I? I was somewhere here. Once I finish, I'm gonna go into one of the commentaries where it says fathers when I was trying to figure out that and see if it's in the commentary. Let's see. Where am I? Where was I? We already passed this. Here. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, what satisfaction will we derive from the dominion of the three? We already passed this. Here we were. The sons of Dhritarashtra and friends, oh Krishna, how can we hope to be happy by killing our own kinsmen? Their thoughts are overpowered by greed, and they see no wrong in annihilating their relatives or wrecking treasury upon friends. Yet, O Krishna, why should we, who can clearly see the crime in killing our kindred, not turn away from this sin? When a dynasty is destroyed, its traditions get vanquished, and the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. With the preponderance of vice, O Krishna, the woman of the family becomes immoral, and from the immorality of women, O descendant of Varishni, unwanted progeny are born. Let's look at that. A descendant of a person, so offspring. An increase in unwanted children results in hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family. Deprived of the sacrificial offerings, the ancestors of such corrupt families also fall. Through the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted progeny, a variant of social and family welfare activities are ruined. O Krishna, I have heard from the learned that those who destroy family traditions dwell in hell for an indefinite period of time. Alas, how strange it is that we have set our mind to perform this great sin, driven by the desire for kingly pleasures. We are intent on killing our own kinsmen. It will be better if, with weapons in hand, the sons of Dhritarashtra kill me unarmed and unresisting on the battlefield. Sanjay said, speaking thus, Arjun cast aside his bow and arrows and sank into the seat of his chariot, his mind in distress and overwhelmed with grief. So I want to go back up here.
तत्र पश्यस्थितान् पार्थः पितॄनथ पितामहान् आचार्यान् मातुलान् भ्रातॄन् पुत्रान् पौत्रान् सखिंस्तथा श्वशूरान् सुहृदंश्चैव सेनयोरुभयोरपि.
So there's no commentary. Okay, that's fine. That is totally fine. Hello, whoever's watching. Nice to see you. Leave a comment if you like. That'd be great. And let's continue to chapter 2. So right now we just heard Sanjay speak to King Dhritarashtra of what is occurring on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the battle between the Kauravas and the Pandavas, Kauravas being under the reign of King Dhritarashtra, Pandavas being led by, well, from what I can tell, led by Arjun being on the battlefield looking into the Kauravas, the army, and seeing that his fellow kinsmen are assembled expertly, ready to lay down everything on that battlefield. And you can tell the distress that Arjun is facing, and seeks, I would assume from what I can tell, is going to seek wisdom from Lord Krishna, because of the situation he's in. He's in a very deep situation. Imagine killing your own kind, your own brothers, cousins, uncles, teachers, mentors, leaders that you've known, and you're facing them ready to go to battle. That must be something that is so challenging, and is probably the most intense feeling, reality, one of them, at least on this materialistic world and view. And so let's dive a little deeper. Let's see what Krishna said. Well, what wisdom Krishna will bestow onto Arjun. And so I can see. Well, I'm not too sure if this. I hope this is the idea. I see a picture here updated every time. But from birth or younging to old age, you can see something is traveling through it all. It looks like it comes into the body and then leaves the body. Let's see. Chapter 2. Sankhya Yoga, the yoga of analytical knowledge. In this chapter, Arjun reiterates to Sri Krishna that he is unable to cope with his current situation, where he has to kill his elders and teachers. He refuses to take part in such a battle and requests Sri Krishna to be his spiritual teacher and guide him to the proper path of action. Then the Supreme Lord starts imparting divine knowledge to Arjun. So I don't know if this is knowledge that's being imparted into the body. We'll find out. He begins with the immortal nature of the soul. So this might be the soul, or a depiction of what would be a soul, an illustration, not the actual thing. Begins with the immortal nature of the soul, which is eternal and imperishable. Death only destroys the physical body, but the soul continues its journey. Just as a person discards his old clothes and adorns new ones, the soul keeps changing bodies from one lifetime to another. The Lord then reminds Arjun that his social responsibility as a warrior is to fight for upholding righteousness. He explains that performing one's social duty is a virtuous act that can take him to the celestial abodes, while dereliction only leads to infamy and humiliation. At first, Sri Krishna tries to motivate Arjun at a mundane level. Then he moves deeper and starts explaining to Arjun the science of work. He asks Arjun to perform his deeds without any attachment to their fruits. This science of working without desire for rewards is called the yog of the intellect, or buddhi yog. He further advises that the intellect should be used to control the desire for rewards from work. By working with such intent, the bondage between karmas get transformed into bondage breaking karmas, and a state beyond sorrows can be attained. Okay. Interesting. This is interesting. Hmm. Arjuna is curious to know more about those who are situated in divine consciousness. Sri Krishna therefore describes how persons who have attained transcendence are free from attachment, fear, and anger. They are undisturbed and poised in every situation. Let's actually look up how you pronounce that.
Equipoise.
Equipoised in every situation. With their senses subdued, they keep their minds always absorbed in God. He also explains the progression of afflictions of the mind, such as greed, anger, lust, etc., and advises how these can be overcome. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we will be starting chapter 2. This is quite lengthy. This has 72 verses, so stay tuned and enjoy. Chapter 2, verse 1. Sanjay said, seeing Arjun overwhelmed with pity, his mind grief-stricken and his eyes full of tears, Sri Krishna spoke the following words. The Supreme Lord said, my dear Arjun, how has this delusion overcome you in this hour of peril? It is not befitting an honorable person. It leads not to the higher abodes, but to disgrace. O Parth, it does not befit you to yield this unmanliness. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O vanquisher of enemies. Arjun said, O Madhusundan, how can I shoot arrows in battle of men like Bhishma and Dronakarya, who are worthy of my worship, O destroyer of enemies? It would be better to live in this world by begging than to enjoy life by killing these noble elders who are my teachers. If we kill them, the wealth and pleasures we enjoy will be tainted by blood. We do not even know which result of this war is preferable for us, conquering them or being conquered by them. Even after killing them, we will not desire to live, yet they have taken the side of Dhritarashtra and now stand before us on the battlefield. I am confused by about my duty, and am besieged with anxiety and faint-heartedness. I am your disciple, and am surrendered to you. Please instruct me for certain what is best for me. I can find no means of driving away this anguish that is drying up my senses. Even if I win a prosperous and unrivaled kingdom on the earth, or gain sovereignty in the celestial gods, like the celestial gods, I will be unable to dispel this grief. Sanjay said, having thus spoken, Gurukash, the chastier of enemies, addressed Harikesh, Govind, I shall not fight, and became silent. O Dhritarashtra, Thereafter, in the midst of both the armies, Sri Krishna smilingly spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjun. The Supreme Lord said, "While you speak words of wisdom, you are mourning for that which is not worthy of grief. The wise lament neither for the living nor the dead. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all the kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. Just as the embodied soul continuously passes from childhood to young to old age, similarly, at the time of death, the soul passes into another body. The wise are not deluded by this, O son of Kunti. The contact between the senses and the sense objects gives rise to fleeting perceptions of happiness and distress. These are not permanent and come and go like the winter and summer seasons. O descendant of Bharat, one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. O Arjun, noblest among men, that person who is not affected by happiness and distress and remains steady in both becomes eligible for liberation. Of the transcendent there is no endurance, and of the internal there is no cessation. This has verily been observed by the sires of the truth after studying the nature of both, the which pervades the entire body. Know it to be indestructible. Okay, let's read that again. That which pervades the entire body, know it to be indestructible. No one can cause the destruction of the imperishable soul. Only the material body is perishable. The embodied soul within is indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharat. Neither of them is in knowledge. Neither of them is in knowledge. And one who thinks the soul can slay, and the one who thinks the soul can be slain, for truly the soul neither kills nor can it be killed. The soul is neither born nor does it ever die, nor having once existed, does it ever cease to be. The soul is without birth, eternal, immortal, and ageless. It is not destroyed when the body is destroyed. O Parth, how can one who knows the soul to be immeasurable, eternal, unborn, and unmutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? As a person sheds worn-out garments and wears new ones, likewise, at the time of death, the soul casts off its worn-out body and enters a new one. Weapons cannot shred the soul, nor can fire burn it. Water cannot wet it, nor can the wind dry it. The soul is unbreakable, incombustible. It can neither be dampened nor dried. It is everlasting in all places, unalterable, immutable, and primordial. The soul is spoken as invisible, inconceivable, and unchangeable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. If, however, you think that the self is subject to constant birth and death, almighty armed Arjun, even then you should not grieve like this. Death is certain for one who has been born, and rebirth is inevitable for one who has died. Therefore, you should not lament over the inevitable. O Sion of Bharth, all created beings are manifest before birth, manifest in life, and again create beings are unmanifest before birth, manifest in life, and again unmanifest on death. So why grieve? Some see the soul as amazing, some describe it as amazing, and some hear the soul as amazing, while others, even on hearing, cannot understand it at all. O Arjun, the soul that dwells within the body is immortal. Therefore, you should not mourn for anyone. Besides, considering your duty as a warrior, you should not waver. Indeed, a warrior, there is no better engagement than fighting for upholding of righteousness. O Partha, happy are the warriors to whom such opportunities to defend righteousness come unsought, opening for them the stairway to the celestial abodes. If, however, you refuse to fight this righteous war, abandoning your social duty and reputation, you will certainly incur sin. People will speak of you as a coward and deserter. For a respectful person, infamy is worse than death. The great generals who hold you in high esteem will think that you fled from the battlefield out of fear, and thus will lose their respect for you. Your enemies will defame and humiliate you with unkind words, disparaging your might. Alas, what could be more painful than that? If you fight, you will either be slain on the battlefield or go to the celestial abodes, or you will gain victory and enjoy the kingdom on earth. Therefore, arise with determination, O son of Kunti, and be prepared to fight. Fight for the sake of duty, treating alike happiness and distress, loss and gain, victory and defeat. Fulfilling your responsibility in this way, you will never incur sin. Hitherto, I have explained to you, Sankhya Yoga, the analytic knowledge regarding the nature of the soul. Now listen, O Parth, as I reveal Buddhi Yoga, or the Yoga of intellect. When you work with such understanding, you will be freed from the bondage of karma. Working in this state of consciousness, there is no loss to adverse results, and even a little effort saves one from great danger. A descendant of the Kurus, the intellect of those who are in this path of resolute, and their aim is one pointed, but the intellect of those who are irresolute in many branches. Those who with limited understanding get attracted to the flowery words of the Vedas, but which advocate ostentatiousness, rituals for elevation to the celestial abodes, and presume no higher principle and is described in them. They glorify They glorify only those portions of the Vedas that please their senses, and perform pompous ritualistic ceremonies for attaining high birth, opulence, celestial enjoyment, and elevation to the heavenly planets. Oh shit. With their minds deeply attached to the worldly pleasures, and their intellects bewildered by such things, they are unable to possess the resolute determination for success on the path of God. Damn. These two verses? So, from what I'm getting from this, is that if you are a Hindu, or practice Hinduism, or Sanatan Dharma, right? If you read this one line, you know exactly what this means. And most people, from what I can tell, most of the Hindus that I've known only are attracted to the flowery words of the Vedas. They don't actually and they only glorify portions of the Vedas. Hence limited understanding. They will be unable to possess the resolute determination of success, for success on the path to God. So therefore, I'm sorry to say this to most folks who practice Hinduism. If this is in your mind of thinking you will attain the life after birth, or not even that, to attain righteousness, through what was described, and not by following individual rituals for the purpose of opulence, sensational enjoyment, and attempt to elevation to the heavenly planets, you will not actually, you're actually doing not the opposite, you're actually not doing what's required, which is a neat little surprise. I was shocked when I read this. The Vedas deal with the three modes of material nature, O Arjun. Rise above the three modes to a state of pure spiritual consciousness, freeing yourself from dualities, eternally fixed and true. And without concern for material gain and safety. Be situated in the self. Whatever purpose is served by a small well of water is naturally served in all respects by a large lake. Similarly, one who realizes the absolute truth also fulfills the purpose of all the Vedas. You have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Never consider yourself to be the cause, of the results of your activities, nor be attached to an action. Be steadfast in the performance of your duties, O Arjun, abandoning attachment to success and failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. Seek refuge in divine knowledge and insight, O Arjun, and discard reward-seeking actions that are certainly inferior to works performed with the intellect established in divine knowledge. Miserly are those who seek to enjoy the fruits of their work. One who prudently practices the science of work without attachment can get rid of both good and bad reactions in this life itself. Therefore, strive for yoga, which is the heart of working skillfully in proper consciousness. The wise endowed the equanimity of intellect, abandon attachment to the fruits of actions, which bind one to the cycle of life and death. By working in such consciousness, they attain the state beyond all suffering. When your intellect crosses the quagmire of delusion, you will then acquire indifference to what has been heard and what is yet to be heard about enjoyments in this world and the next. When your intellect ceases to be allured by the fruit of sections of the Vedas and remains steadfast in divine consciousness, you will then attain the state of perfect yoga. Arjun said, O Keshav, What is the disposition of one who is situated in divine consciousness? How does an enlightened person talk? How does he sit? How does he walk? The Supreme Lord said, O Parth, when one discards all self desires and cravings of the senses that torment the mind and becomes satisfied in the realization of the self, such a person is said to be transcendentally situated. Let me see what that looks like. No. Yep, there we go. Search. Wow. One whose mind remains undisturbed amidst misery, who does not crave for pleasure, and who is not free, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady wisdom. One who remains unattached under all conditions, and is neither delighted by good fortunes, nor nor what? Nor dejected by tribulation. He is a sage with perfect knowledge. One who is able to withdraw the senses from their objects, just as a tortoise withdraws its limbs into its shell, is established in divine wisdom. Aspirants may restrain the senses from their objects of enjoyment, but the test for the sense objects remain. However, even this taste ceases for those who realize the supreme. The sense for so strong and turbulent, O son of Kunti, that they can forcibly carry away the mind even of a person endowed by discrimination and practicing self-control. They are established in perfect knowledge, who subdue their senses and keep their minds ever absorbed in me. While contemplating on the objects of the senses, one develops attachment to them. Attachment leads to desire, and for desire arises anger. Anger leads to clouding of judgment, which results in bewilderment of memory. When the memory is bewildered, the intellect gets destroyed, and when the intellect is destroyed, one is ruined. By one who controls the mind and is free from attachment and aversion, even while using the objects of the senses, attains the grace of God. By divine grace comes the peace in which all sorrows end, and the intellect of such a person of tranquil mind soon becomes firmly established in God. But an undisciplined person who has not controlled the mind and senses can neither be a resolute intellect nor steady contemplation on God. For one who never unites the mind with God, there is no peace. And how can one who lacks peace be happy? Just as a strong wind sweeps a boat off its charted course on the water, even one of the senses on which the mind focuses can lead the intellect astray. Therefore, one who has restrained the senses from their objects, Almighty Arjun, is firmly established in transcendental knowledge. What all beings consider as day in the night of ignorance for the wise, and what all creatures see as night is the day for the introspective sage. Just as the ocean remains undisturbed by the incessant flow of waters from rivers merging into it, likewise the sage who is unmoved despite the flow of desirable objects all around him attain peace, and not the person who strives to satisfy desires. That person who gives up all material desires and lives free from a sense of greed, proprietorship, and egoism attains perfect peace. O Parth, such is the state of an enlightened soul, that having attained it, one is never again deluded. Being established in this consciousness, even at the hour of death, one is liberated from the cycle of life and death and reaches the supreme abode of God. That's it. That's chapter 2. It was quite good. We got an understanding of what actually Krishna was trying to bestow upon to Arjun. We learned more about the soul and how to free ourselves in a way, well, not free ourselves, not how to free ourselves, but why we should really free ourselves, and what is the meaning behind doing such an action. So if you like what you saw, be sure to give it a like in the bottom portion of this video, and leave a comment on what you thought about chapter 1 and 2. And besides that, we'll be reading chapters 3 and 4 next time. And until then, take care, and I will see you then.